Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but everybody cannot have a perfect man. There's not enough perfect women to go around. And even if there is, they don't want you. And in addition to that, some of us evil, lazy women, we want love and affection too. Like, everybody can't get a kind, caring, loving woman. Some of y'all are just gonna have to settle for us evil, lazy women. And while we're at it, we can just go ahead and put that 50-50 conversation to rest. Some of y'all are gonna get 80-20, 100, -10, meaning some of y'all gonna have to pay the bills and cook and clean. Some of y'all gonna have to pay the bills and clean, and all she does is cook when she feels like it. And some of y'all men, y'all just gonna have to do everything. Y'all gonna have to do everything. Y'all gonna have to pay the bills, cook, clean, and her primary focus is making sure that her children are taken care of. Also, but you actually also gonna have to help with that too. So yeah, my point is, I know a lot of y'all men want kind, loving, caring wives, but they don't want y'all. And so y'all are gonna have to settle for us evil, lazy women. And y'all just need to accept it. Listen, a lot of the good women that wanted to be wives and be nurturers, a lot of them are already married. What does that leave left? Some of y'all are just gonna have to take us evil city girls. Okay, some of y'all are just gonna have to take some of us hoes and leave us as hoes, but we just wives. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of y'all are just gonna have to settle. You can't have your cake and eat it too, is my point. Like, you can't have the best of the best. Sometimes you just gotta get what you got and be happy and be grateful. Come on now. Okay, like I said, the evil, lazy women like myself, we want love too. And some of y'all, we're your options. And we don't cook or clean. Come on now.
As a man, if you don't have house core job, don't look for a woman with house core job. And for the men that complain about women that do that, look for a man that has all three, and they don't have all three. We can do that. We are women. You want us. You need us. Y'all want one thing from us. And mad because we boss y'all around because you're a fucking servant. You're a provider, right? You're a protector, right? You're a security guard, and you're a goddamn assistant. Know your place. Stop being contradicting. And bow down. Because I'm sick of it.
All right, good people. The clips that you just heard were two, I'll call them two threes, big back women, BBWs, big back women, basically calling out black men and ordering them back to the table, back to the slave quarters. I remember it's got to be at least, it got to be almost 10 years ago, really, 10 years ago, when me and Obsidian and Angry Man came together. We talked about the table. That was Obsidian's thing. That was his whole reason for being. The table. Black men and women coming back together at the table and horse trading, repairing relationships between black men and women, restoring families, restoring neighborhoods, that kind of stuff, right? The pro-black utopia, as we call it. And for 10 years, well, really, we're good 6-7 years since then, we had to go through all this, I don't need a man, and black men are dusty, it's black men's fault, black men haven't built anything, yada, 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 we're going over the fence, we're going to get white men, we're going to date out, we can do bad all by ourselves. That rhetoric, had been going on since the 80s and just intensified. And the so-called online gender wars going back and forth with the war of words, calling each other out names and all this bashing, as they call it. And saying that we hated black women and we were all kind of foul names, like touching little people and rapists and deleters, as we would call it. And then they start calling us body bags and bullet bags and enjoying when the authorities beat up on us because we're colorist and sexist and lovers of white women. So all the negative kind of stuff that really all sectors of the black female intelligentsia was actually putting out on the airwaves and into print. And all of them were women. So we're actually guys. And they said they were done. And unless we came crawling back and we bent to their will, then there was no repair. They were done with us and they were done with the community, and they were going to go off by themselves and make their own sisterhood. And we said that, I said, let's put it that way, it wasn't a we. I said that the environment was going to change, the economy was going to change, and when the environment and economy changed, then women would come back to the table and be waiting for us. I was just talking to Dr. T today about this, and what we have found out, or what I said to him, like, God, it's got to be 2018. God, it's been almost 7 years now. I told him way back then that black women were going to come back to the table and they're going to want to get back with us. And the thing is, were we going to accept them after all these years, all these decades of negative talk and throwing us under the bus, going against us with all this black girl power rhetoric and that's black girl magic, and we weren't worthy of them. They needed a higher caliber men unless we actually went out and fought a race war and took over the whole country and built something. We weren't worthy of them. We were lower than dust. Lo and behold, where are we now? Before Kevin Samuels popped, okay, Kevin Samuels was always big in our eyes, and he was one of the family. But before he really popped in 2020, I told him that COVID was going to change the environment, it's going to change the economy, and that women were going to get scared, and they wanted to start at the top. And since he was running the High Value Men Club on Facebook for the most part, and on YouTube, because he had been counseling these guys for a good 4 or 5 years. So he had a good cache of like 600 or 700 of these men. And these women used to line up every night trying to get one of those guys. And I said right then, because the environment is shifting and the economy is shifting, that women were going to get desperate. And also what I said is that COVID, because I didn't know how long COVID was going to last. I thought maybe 6 months. I had no idea that the COVID effect would last like a year and a half. And it's under the COVID effect, especially with the kids not going to school and staying home, that men and young men especially were going to get to the point where vagina no longer defined them. I'm trying not to cuss, okay? So vagina no longer defined them. Master Yao said the same thing, that men are going to have to get to the point, especially black men, are not defined by vagina or as being in service to women. Because Dr. Johnson and I actually came up with the word concuserf, right? Concubine and serf, which is a worker on the land for the Lord, for the landlord, and the black women are the landlord. So black women either see this as a walking penis, which is a concubine, or somebody to extract resources and work for them so they can give them a soft life. So I knew what was going to happen is that black men were going to opt out of that, because COVID did two things. One, it made black men go into what I call monkhood, which is no sexual contact and really no emotional contact with black women or with women, period. So they had to rely on themselves. They had to find something else to do with themselves. They had to find a different way, be social in a different way, because they couldn't date, they couldn't go out, they couldn't really interact with women what is it, romantically or sexually. So coming out of that, what happened was that they found out one or two things. Two things really. First is, I'm not going to die if I don't get any vagina. I'm not going to die if I don't get no vagina. If I go month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year without vagina, I'm not going to die. And two, since everybody else is all on the same page, what we're noticing is that if I'm not in a relationship with a woman, then I'm okay. I'm still a good guy. I'm still a decent guy. And I'm still masculine, even though I'm not in a relationship with a woman. So inside monkhood, where you don't have really a relationship with women, not having sex with women, what you find out once you clear your palate and you adjust your desire, what you find out is that there's a cost for vagina. Whether you pay for it in dollars, or if you want emotional attachment to it, you got to pay for it in money, time, and emotional labor. And black guys, especially black men, find out exactly how much emotional labor it took to be with a black woman. And a lot of guys opted out. You know what? I'd rather pay. I'd rather go overseas. I'd rather jump the fence than become a concuserf for a black woman. And so that's exactly what's happening. It's exactly what's going on. There was already 2 million more black women than there were black men. 2 million more. And now the numbers have dwindled because 20%, a quarter of these guys are dating out or marrying out. Another 10% are going overseas. So now what you have is a very narrow, shallow pool for black women to date. Now, if you want to partner up and you want to get in line for that high value man, and you want to be it used to be number 3, now it extended to number 5, now you're number 10. And you're not getting the dinner. You're not getting sex. You might get sex once every couple of months. You might get a phone call once every month. You may even get a date once every 3 months. But for the most time, waiting on that guy and to go through his order of succession and get to you, it's going to be very narrow. And black women, they want to be put first. They want the emotional labor. Because that's normally what they depended on, say, the orbiters. Because they're the secondary orbiters that were in their lane to actually fill in the gaps. I don't need sex from them because I'm getting emotional labor, I'm getting help, I'm getting friendship, I'm getting all the male attention that I want. I just have to wait on this 1 or 2 guys to come around and dust me off. Now the guys that were in the orbit are gone. They're exercising the options. If it's not picking up the blue passport and jetting out someplace, if it's not jumping, checking out and taking your black card and jumping over the fence, it's picking up that Xbox and playing with your friends online, or hanging out with your buddies, football games, and excluding women. And now the women, especially the unwanted ones, are the ones that even back then, 10 years ago, were saying they didn't need a man and they were high value and they deserve a top shelf guy. Even one of the Kevin 70s, right? I got 3 kids by 3 different guys. Now I just expect a top shelf guy. They're dating and their expectations are adjusting to the environment, right? Now you got AI, you got people getting laid off, you got nurses getting laid off, you got people that are not into the trades getting laid off. Now they have to adjust their expectations. Now their degree that used to mean so much, they're laying them off too. In fact, I just read an article with Generation Z, fresh out of college, fresh with their bachelor's and sometimes their master's degree, can't get a job. There was one article I saw, there was a black woman that had a PhD and could not get a job for 4 years. Could not get a job for 4 years. So that degree from the degree mill we call college is not what they thought it was. And when the environment changed and the economy changes and they start taking the government largesse from their baby daddy, which is Uncle Sam, now they're desperate. Now you hear women like we just heard demanding that their concuserfs come back to the table and do what they're supposed to do and man up and be a good man and take care of these evil chicks that don't clean and have bad attitudes, mediocre sex. You come and service them and be with them because they're your only option. They demand that you come back and serve. They demand that the winter soldier come back and protect them. It's like the second chick. We don't have house car job. That doesn't mean anything because y'all need to come in and take care of us because we're women. And you only want one thing. And we supply that. And our job is to take care of our kids, not your kids, our kids, their kids, and make sure they're good. You have to go out and you have to kill yourself to take care of me. They're demanding that you come back and you take your so-called rightful place behind them. Forget your options, Cupcake. Life's tough. Get a helmet, right? That's what they're telling you. Come back, come to this table, sign this contract, and get back on it and do your job. Because we're here waiting at the table. Just like you said, we're supposed to be here waiting at the table, which we never said you had to be. We're waiting here at the table, and you're not here, and we demand that you show up and man up and take care of us. Times change. Man with options got freedom. High value man has options. Lots of them. And they do. They will always have. Now, the regular value men have options too. And they're exercising them. So what's going to happen to you? That means y'all need to bring something else to the table. As Captain Sisko said in Star Trek, not enough. Not enough. You're not bringing enough to the table to bring us back. We're not coming back for the old contract. You get everything and we get nothing. Doesn't work that way, Cupcake, especially for 3s and 4s. Don't even work that way for 9s and 10s anymore. It is what it is. You can sit at the table till you die. We don't care. If you don't give us a reason to come back, we out and we're going to stay out. In fact, we're going someplace else. Miss Pink Pill said, don't go where you're tolerated, go where you're appreciated. And that's what black men are doing. We out. With that, folks, that's all I got for this one. I thought this would be hilarious when I first saw it. I couldn't believe what I was hearing with my own ears. That these particular chicks, not even 9s and 10s, talking about 3s and 4s, demanding that we come back and serve them. Are you freaking kidding me? It's BGS out now. See you guys on the next one. Peace.